Hi everyone, this is Jill Flynn, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to remove a leash using PicMonkey. It's very easy to do. This is a little dog named Louie. He's a little rescue dog, and I took this portrait of him, but I don't want to include this bright red leash in the portrait. I don't think it really adds anything. I just want to go ahead and remove it. I'm going to show you how to do that using PicMonkey. So you want to navigate over to the PicMonkey menu here on the left. You want to scroll down till you see this little wand. Let's click on that, and you'll see that the effects menu will pop up, and these are all the different effects, the different tools that PicMonkey has. And we're going to scroll down to the bottom one called Clone. We're going to use the Clone tool, so let's click on that. And then you'll see the Clone menu will come up. And then you'll see different things from the source, the brush side, to the brush hardness, and then something called Fade. Brush hardness, that really refers to the hardness of the brush, really the edges. So you can have a very soft brush or a very hard brush. On something like this where we're working against a solid background, a soft brush is ideal. We don't need a hard brush. Times where you'd want to use a hard brush if maybe you're working in an area that has very defined lines, and you need the brush to be very precise. That's when you'd want to use a hard brush. So go ahead and play around with that PicMonkey brush and the different hardness levels, and you'll get a feel for when you'd want to use a soft brush and a hard brush. But for something like this, again, I think a soft brush is a good choice. And the next thing we're going to see is the brush size. So as we click on the brush size, you'll see this little slider, and we'll adjust the brush size, and the more you go to the right, the larger the brush. So if we just hover over, we want to make sure that that brush covers the leash, which it does. So that might be a good size brush. And the next thing you see is source. So if you click on source, the source means that's the area that you want to clone on top of the leash. So when you click on source and then just click on an area that you want to clone on top of the leash, so maybe we start somewhere like here. Let's click on that. And it's going to start sampling that area and lay that on top of the leash. So then we just go to the leash and we click and we just drag. And don't worry, we don't have to get it all the first time. Let's click on source again. Let's sample again, and then let's go down. And as you notice, sample one more time and go down. At some point when you get close to the pet, you're going to want to use a smaller brush. So this is when we'd want to use a smaller brush. So let's go ahead and make our brush a little bit smaller, something like that. Let's go to source, and we're just going to sample right here, and then let's just go over area. And then, you know, where you have some fine detail, like around the fur. Now you'll find that dogs with long hair could be a little bit more challenging. So this is a time where maybe we want to use a harder brush. So to show you what I mean, let's go and let's make the brush hardness. We'll make it just a little bit harder, maybe something like 25%. And the reason I'm selecting a hard brush is we've got some area, you know, really defined line between the fur and the background, and we want to keep that maybe keep that edge defined. We're going to use a hard brush. Let's make the brush actually a little bit smaller because we're working in a very small area, a very defined area. That's good. Let's click on our source and maybe just something right around here. And then let's take our brush. And that kind of keeps like the edge nice. I think that looks pretty good.